This is a new video series I've come up with where once a month, give or take, I'm going to jump on YouTube and talk about 5 completely random films that I love. The inspiration for this was my wanting to make more YouTube videos in general, wanting to talk about more older films and not just the new release films, and also because a lot of new releases nowadays are not that great, and I just want to bring some positivity back to this channel of stuff. So yeah, I've literally just gone to Letterboxd, chose 5 random films that I love, and now I'm going to talk about some. So let's jump right in. First one being The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. This film to me is one of the all-time great premises ever conceived for a film. Jim Carrey plays Truman Burbank, a guy who, unbeknownst to him, his entire life has been a TV show. The town that he lives in, one massive Hollywood set. All the people who live in the town, actors, extras. His wife's an actor, his best friend's an actor, his mum's an actor. Thousands upon thousands of hidden cameras in the town recording his everyday interactions and broadcasting them to the entire world. And he soon starts to finally discover the truth about his reality. It's an extremely interesting and engaging premise. And the way they flesh out this world, this completely fake world that Truman lives in, with all the hidden details and subtleties in the background and just off to the side of the camera, it really shows just how much care and attention the filmmakers put into this to bring this concept truly to life. And the film is just ram-packed with those details, but these undertones, messages and themes that'll just get you thinking long after the credits roll. There's stuff in there about surveillance, reality television, consumerism, existentialism. There's even some religious metaphors in there. It has a lot of layers, is what I'm trying to say. And the ending is one of my all-time favorite endings of any film ever. And the more I think about this film, the more I watch it, and the more new details I discover about it, it's creeping up on my list of all-time favorite films. Next up is Mid-90s. This film came out in 2018. It was directed by Jonah Hill in his directorial debut, and the film takes place, believe it or not, in the mid-90s, and it's about this kid who has kind of a shitty home life, and then he befriends this group of skateboarders, and that's pretty much the film. He hangs out with these new friends, skateboards, and chills out and just gets out of his shitty home life. And in that, the film's kind of a hangout film, and you know I love me a good hangout film. I think a lot of people can relate to this film in terms of escaping crappy home lives or shitty personal life circumstances through hobbies and pastimes. This kid does it through skateboarding. I, for one, do it through films, sometimes games, entertainment in general, YouTube, that kind of thing. So I related to this kid a lot in that regard. And on top of all of that, the production of Mid-90s will blow you away, because in terms of how it's filmed, the production design, costume design, it really looks like it was filmed in the 1990s. It is actually really stunning. It looks like a time capsule of this era despite being made in 2018. So if you are nostalgic for the 1990s and the whole aesthetic of the 1990s, you almost have to watch this film, because you are just going to be teleported right back to that era. Come to Mid-90s for that, and stay for the touching coming-of-age story. Next up is one of my favourites from 2016, Captain Fantastic, with Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen plays this dad who's kind of a screw the man, screw society type guy, and he has raised all of his kids in the woods, off the grid, and he's taught them a bunch of things except the outside world. But now the family have to venture out of the woods into society because the mother of this family has just recently died, so they're going to attend the funeral, and along the way they encounter a bunch of stuff about the outside world that they've not been prepared for thanks to Viggo Mortensen, and it's a fish out of water scenario in that regard. And to me, one of the better fish out of water type stories that I've seen, because they set it up very well at the beginning with them living in the woods, and it's entertaining in parts watching them try to interact with the outside world, but it's also compelling because the kids want to know more about the world, but Viggo is really strict and reserved and just doesn't want them to be disillusioned and poisoned by society and culture and whatnot. It's really elevated by everybody involved. The writing, the directing, the acting. Viggo Mortensen is amazing. I would love to see him get an Oscar at some point because he really deserves it. And in the second half of the film, it hits some emotional notes, and it hits them well because the kids start kind of rebelling against Viggo Mortensen because of the crappy job he's done really in parenting them and not getting them prepared for the world. And I tear up a few times in the end of the film, and it's effective. It's a good family drama, a compelling family drama. It's a film that kind of flew under the radar when it came out in 2016. few people watched it, but then nobody really talks about it again. And to me, that's a damn shame because, in my eyes, it's a great film. Got another coming of age film for you now. The Way Back. This film came out way back in 2013. It's about this kid Duncan. He's very shy, very awkward, and he goes with his mum, played by Toni Collette, and the mum's partner, played by Steve Carell, to this beach house for a bit of a getaway. And he goes to this nearby water park where Sam Rockwell is operating one of the water slides there. And under the awesome tutelage of the awesome Sam Rockwell, Duncan learns to kind of come out of his shell a little bit, get a bit of confidence under his belt. And did I say that Sam Rockwell was awesome yet? Because he really is awesome. As an awkward person myself, I really enjoy watching awkward characters in films, again, come out of their shells, find some confidence, and it was really cool seeing Duncan do that in this film under Sam Rockwell. It's a very tender film in the way it approaches the development of Duncan, and also it's effective because Steve Carell's character, the mum's boyfriend, is a dick. Like, seriously, when it comes to stepdad, mother's partner characters in films, he is one of the douchiest ones I recall ever seeing. He's so, like, casually condescending to Duncan, and he's an asshole. But Steve Carell plays it very well. Again, it's another film that kind of flew under the radar, which is understandable because it came out 11 years ago and it wasn't a massive, giant film. So hopefully I'm keeping the memory of The Way Back alive. And last but not least for this video, Kramer vs. Kramer. Like I said, completely random selection of films. This film came out in the 70s, I believe, and it's a divorce drama. Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep are getting a divorce, and they are battling for the custody of their son, hence Kramer versus Kramer. These kinds of films about divorces and custody battles can be easily very depressing and very manipulative and very Hollywoodized, but that's not Kramer versus Kramer. The thing I love about this film is that it doesn't force the emotion out of you. It's not Hollywoodized with an overly dramatic score or anything like that. It actually feels very realistic. Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep, they're both amazing in the film. They both won Oscars for the film, but it's because they just feel like two parents trying to win the affection of their kid. Dustin Hoffman is the workaholic dad, and the reason for the separation is because of the concentration on work, not spending enough time with the kid, with Meryl Streep, and he has been kind of dumped with a lot more parental responsibilities, and it's just a compelling struggle to watch because of how real it feels and how much he really wants to be a good dad. There's a scene where the kid takes a tumble, and the way his character responds in that scene actually gives me a lump in the throat because you just see how desperately he wants to be a good dad, but he's just struggling to do it because he's not used to doing it. It is a really, really damn good film. As far as divorce stories go and custody battle stories go in films, this is gotta be one of, if not the best that I've ever seen. So those are 5 random films that I love. Have you seen any of those films? What do you think about them? And would you be interested in me continuing this series and just talking about random bits of cinematic greatness over the coming months? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.